is she... Does the script do her any favors? Like when she has to yell things like, well, come on, feet. I think I struggled with her, with the character, because you don't get to really meet her.
Right.
Like you meet her and she's living out this fantasy in a park, and she's all by herself with her dog, and she's having this whole extended sequence of fighting this goblin situation from her book. And then it starts to rain, she runs home. But then right from there, she like takes a nutty because her stepmom wants to go out. It's a little abrupt.
She's very like whiny.
Yes.
Like I didn't like her from the beginning. You just can't connect with her. There's not enough time to connect with her or feel badly for her because you have to watch your brother. Poor baby, who hasn't had to watch your brother?
Absolutely. And I think it would have helped the movie to, now that I watch it now, maybe it would have helped me then when I shut it off. Like, to get to know her a little bit to the point where it's like, oh, that makes sense that she's not afraid of this rock star strange man in her bedroom or in the kids, in the kids' room near the crib. Like, she's weirdly fearless, and I didn't... Like, it's not really justified why. Even when that room sort of fades away and they're in this wasteland, that, like...
She doesn't bat an eye.
There's no realization that this has happened. Like, there's no, like, look at this world. Like, it's like she's, like, totally ready. And it's not quite earned. Like, we have 2 scenes with her. One when she's a crazy teenage girl screaming at her stepmother. And 2... when she's already living in this fantasy that she's created on her.
And did you feel like she overreacted to the mother, too?
That's what I was saying.
The stepmother?
Yes.
Like, all she wanted to do was have her... They want to go out to eat. They want to go out to dinner. She's an hour late.
They're encouraging her. Yeah, absolutely.
And she's not even that mad. She's like, just come in. She's like, I can't do anything right, can I? I'm like...
it's like, you're an hour late.
You're an hour late, and she's not even that mad.
Yeah. And also, she knows the rule about the dog. She tries to, like, screw the rule. I mean, like, she's not, like, necessarily the nicest teenage girl ever. Maybe it's very true to life. I don't know.
Right.
And,
but the father was so vacant, though, I will say.
The father was scary. Can I say the father was scary looking? And you only see him once, and I was really like, oh, he's kind of just, I don't know, he was a little just, he looked scary. He could play a villain. And I actually wondered, and I think, I wondered if he would ever come back. Like, if he and the stepmother would manifest in the Labyrinth.
That would have been great.
Villains.
That would have been great.
I will say, she says that's not fair multiple times.
Well, I think they do it on purpose.
Yes, because it leads to I think the best line, which is David Bowie. So Sarah says that's not fair, and this is now the 4th or 7th time she said it. And David Bowie's Jareth says, "You say that so often. I wonder what your basis of comparison is." And I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, I really like that line too.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that went right over my head.
He has some great lines.
Yeah. So I like that a lot. I thought it was an interesting tidbit because, I have the subtitles on my TV screen. And the little man under the tile. Remember how she's making marks on the tile? Yes. So I wrote it down.
Like, did you hear what it's...
Oh, yeah. Did you hear it anyway?
I heard he was saying, your mother is a...
He says, your mother is a fraggin' aardvark. And Carl's like, oh my God. And so Carl watched it with me. And I was like, I didn't catch it. I knew. By the way, my hearing is fine, for the record. I have it on.
I'm kidding.
I have it on subtitles because when we lived in Brooklyn, we haven't flipped it back, that we lived near the BQE, and you just sometimes couldn't hear. But that's
yes, I remember him saying that. And I have to say, that's one of the things I really liked about this movie. I started to say it, and then you jumped into what you liked. But one of the things I really liked about the movie is that it went a little too far for a kid's movie. It went a little too far in some things, like something like that, or when like David Bowie's dancing and he just like kicks one of the Muppets.
Yes.
And it's like you would not see that in this day and age. I don't think that they would make a kids movie.
Yeah.
They would not make a kids movie to do that.
Yeah.
It would be like PG-13 or something.
Yeah.
And this was PG. Although I think it was before PG-13 existed. Gremlins was the first PG-13. Oh, Gremlins was the reason why they started talking about PG-13. And that was around that same time frame. So I'm not sure what came first. But in any case, it would you don't see that sort of thing in a child's movie anymore. And certainly not calling somebody a, farging aardvark.
Yeah.
Or talking about your mother that way.
Right.
And even the other part I liked is that it would be like scary, and then the second later it's funny, like or cute, like with David Bowie throwing the snake at her, and it turns into like an animal, and it giggles and runs away, and it's like you're scared for a second, and then it's cute and funny, and even like what are those little, I want to say like they're monkey things, those orange monkey things.
Oh my God.
Right? And
my God.
Like, that was the opposite, right?
Looking.
But they were funny, and they're like, yeah.
Oh, wait. We're talking about different things. Are you talking about things on the stick? Those things are terrifying. They look like...
those things with Ludo? Oh my God, those were horrible.
Unborn babies or something.
Horrible.
Scary.
So scary.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about the orange guys.
Yeah, the birds that would rip their heads off, the ostriches?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I feel like at first they're funny and like, they're goofy and hilarious.
But you realize
and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, they want to take her head off. And it's like all of a sudden turned like this wickedly violent situation. And I felt like that, I loved that about it. Like, you felt several emotions in a matter of like seconds. Funny, scary. Even like when they reached Goblin City and they had that huge mechanical robot scary thing with the big axe.
Yes.
And then Hoggle comes out and opens it up, and it's just this little guy controlling levers. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so funny and cute. And like, it just kind of...
Similarly with the tunnel and that drill. And it finally goes by them, and it's like the little guys.
And little guys, it's like it doesn't let you be too scared for too long, because then all of a sudden it's like, it's just like these little guys. And that weird thing that had like a machine gun, that weird like in the middle of like that huge fight.
Yes. And
it's like, it's like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. And all of a sudden like a boulder falls on him, and he's like, that's all right. It's all right.
Right. That's definitely like a Muppet. Like, that's Muppet humor.
Totally. I guess I relate to Muppet humor.
The things I didn't care for. I absolutely despised Chili Down, the musical number with the ostrich characters. It just looked so fake, and I was like, so fake. It's like this like green screen, and I don't know why some scenes were so beautifully done. And in that scene, it looks like it's a disaster from beginning to end.
It is, and really I remember even back in 1987 or 86 when I was watching it, I was like, this is really weird. And I have to say, like, the owl flying around looked pretty cheesy to me too, but not quite as bad as the ostrich. Is that really what they were, ostriches? I always felt like they were like monkeys.
Bird, Muppet, things that would...
In any case, I totally agree. Completely weird and fake looking, and not... Like, you're right. They could have done a better job, and I don't know what the situation was. If this background was different.
It was weird. Like, everyone had that green, that, like, green glow around them. Which is like, everything behind us is fake. Like, clearly they were Muppets, or puppets that were... probably run by humans behind them.
I feel like they were like on like an old-fashioned string puppet, like Pinocchio.
Well, so here's why I think they were probably people. We could probably just find out, but let's guess instead.
Yeah, sure.
But I think they were people with the outfits glued to them or attached, not glued, but attached to them. And the person had a green screen, because at one point in the credits it says Chili Down choreography by. So it means that there were human dancers represented somehow, and that's.
And let me tell you, I think that I have a behind the scenes part, and I feel like, I don't know, for some reason I feel like I've seen it explained as we're talking about it, but Yeah, you're probably right.
But I did like it. I think overall I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought there were definitely times when it was just super noisy. And I think that maybe that is a creation of being a certain age. Because there are scenes where, I swear to God, in like one scene there was, I wrote it down. I was like, I kept track of things. It was like a barking dog, a screaming baby, moaning and groaning monsters, laughing and cackling monsters, then just sound effects of like crunching and things happening, and music, and Jennifer Connelly like yelling and screaming. And it's like, oh my God. It's like
all of
I think two of those would have been just fine.
That was probably the fight in Goblin City, I'm guessing, right?
It was just a lot. And
there was a lot.
Chickens, I almost said barking. Chickens barking.
Oh my! Right, and getting
and rolled
real
over. Chickens. Yeah.
Did you see that?
I wrote it down. Where is it?
So I don't even need to write this stuff.
I know you're very good. I rolling rocks. Live chickens.
Yeah, being attacked. Yeah.
Like one of them got hit. One of them got hit.
Yes, and like flew up in the air.
Yeah. I felt badly.
Yes, it's actually funny because I watched most of it. I had about, I think, 30 minutes left. And I watched most of it, and then I had to finish it up after Matt got home. And we were watching it together. And I am not...
Matt is my
husband. And he is a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Yes,
and I'm not. I mean, I watched some just because it was on, and I would watch it. But I'm not... The reason why I didn't like Game of Thrones is because of all the friggin' battle scenes. I can't stand them. They're all exactly the same to me.
Okay.
And I liked the storylines.
Yeah.
But in any case, so Matt was watching the last like half hour with me, and he had watched it before, but didn't really remember a lot of it. And I'm telling you, the whole Goblin City fight scene happened, and I just turned to him and I said, "Well, there you go. This is like watching Game of Thrones." And it was because it was just like a typical battle scene. It was just like...
no real consequences? Like, no one... What happened?
No
one...
How did she not get hit by one... I mean, their one job is to get her, right?
Right.
These thousands of creatures, their one job is to get her, that one person. It's not even like battling anybody else.
Right.
And somehow she was able to like duck and dive.
I wrote down... I feel like Jareth would have had a better security system. Suddenly he was like looking out the window and he's like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Like you.
And can't you turn into like an owl or something?
Down, yeah, like, fly away. But so I do have a very important question.
Okay. What's the question?
Does Hoggle learn more about himself than Sarah does? I think yes.
I think yes. Too. Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I had not.
Like I don't know what Sarah really.
Well, she learned one thing.
She cares about.
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
She learned one thing, and it had involved Hoggle, because she grabbed his jewels.
Yeah.
Ooh, that didn't sound right.
His jewel sack.
No, that's worse. That's worse. So she grabbed his belongings.
Yeah.
There's no way to say it. So, and he said, "That's mine. That's not fair." Right? What she always says. And she said, "No, it's not, but that's just the way it is." And I think that is what she learned, and that goes back to her, living quarters and the fact that she has a stepmother and a new child, new brother. And I think that's what's supposed to tie it all in. Mm-hmm. I think that's the only thing that she learned.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes life isn't fair.
That's it, right? Although I will say at the end, when she's putting everything in, like, I thought it was very sad. Like at the very end, she's putting her lipstick away and she's putting her, jewelry box, whatever, the doll. And she's like putting all those things away, like she's packing them away. And so I don't know what kind of message that's supposed to have for the audience. I'm like, there's no reason why she needed to do that, unless it's saying that she was growing up and maybe she's getting out of that fantasy world. But why? Like, why does she have to get out of the fantasy? Like,
well, but then the puppets all pop
and they
back
all pop back up. Which was the best. I feel like that was like I loved that moment. That made me so happy when I first saw it, and even now I still loved it.
That scene you're talking about, she's very good in it.
Yes,
like she actually was like, when she says to Hoggle, she's like, "I really miss you," and I was like, "Oh my God, I really believe her."
Yeah, It was great. Like she said, "I don't know for I don't know why, but every now and again, from time to time, I need you.
Yeah. But she's only been back for 10
seconds. She's only not seen it for 10 seconds. But it's nice. I mean, it's a really nice ending. I really like that.
It is a sweet movie. I think